Hello everyone, welcome to Card Design Thursday. So today I have not one, but two cards for you. All done in the same style, but just a little bit different. So this week, this Card Design Thursday was inspired by my sweet friend Marcia Taylor. And she sent me some beautiful die cuts for my birthday. And they were all white and cream color. She said that I could color them or do whatever I wanted to. But in this were some beautiful snowflakes. And, you know, it just made me think of winter and Christmas. And I decided to leave them white and cream color and create a card with them. So what I'm using today, I am using some embossing powder. I'm using bright white, and I'm also using some cog gloss, but it's more of a beige color. And for ink, I didn't want to put black ink on these cards at all because they were all white and cream mixed together. And I just love the way. So I'm using white pigment ink, and this is the ones that I picked up in a stack at Tuesday mornings last year. I'm not sure what the name of it is. And then also, I picked this up last year from Hobby Lobby, I think, and they were Tim Holtz Distress inks in the little bottles with the tips on them like this. Anyway, I decided I'm using some antique linen with that. Wasn't sure that you could stamp with those, but you can. I'm using some clear stickles. Of course, my art glitter glue. Y'all, this is really glitzy. I'm using my Wink of Stella pen and my white jelly roll pen. And then the stamp set I'm going to be using is this one that I used the other week. It's the one that I got from Create at Home with G. And it's just a beautiful stamp set. And I'm using these two stamps with the snowflakes. And I'm using this Merry Christmas sentiment because they had two little snowflakes with them. And it just really fit the theme of the card. So then I'm using a cream base and a white base. And let me show you what I did. And these are going to be a little bit backwards, but so this is the first card that I created, and I think it's so lovely. I don't know if you can see all the details or not, but it has a white base, then it has the cream base matte, and then it has the white matte on top. And this is one of the beautiful oval die cuts that Marcia gifted me. And these are two of the snowflakes here. And I used some pearls and Wink of Stella and my stickles around here. And it's just real pretty and shiny. And I'm sorry for the glare or whatever. As you know, I film at night now, so it's kind of difficult sometimes. And then the other one that I created is using the cream color card with a white matte and then the cream matte. And I don't know if you can see them or not, but they're really pretty. I did some embossing of the snowflakes. And this one I used a round die and the round doily. And then this is like a beige or a cream color snowflake. And I stamped and embossed a little snowflake in the middle here. And then it has stickles around the edges of it. And it's all glittered up. So we're going to make two more of these cards today. And I forgot, I am using some pearls. And these are some pearls that I ordered off of Amazon last year. Tracy Phillips had ordered these. She's Gift Basket Appeal. She had to order some of these. And so she told me what a great deal they were. And so I had to get some. So let's start working on the cards. Now, these are A2 size cards, which means they're 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And these are the snowflakes, and this is the oval that I'm using on this card. Aren't they pretty? And then we're going to have two mats. So the base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this one right here is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then this one is 4 by 5 1/4. Yeah. So those 3 mats are going to be like that on top. So basically, we're going to work on these. Now, this is what this is a cream, and I'm mixing the cream and the white together. So the first thing I'm going to do on this base is to let it dry. Is I'm taking my Jelly Roll pen on the cream color base, and I'm just going around and doing a little white border. And although you cannot see it right now, when I add the Wicked Stella, you will be able to see it, and it does show up better when it dries. So I'm just edging it with my pen. Just going around the edge there. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and use the Wicked Stella on the edges of it to highlight that white pen there. Because these are the background is sort of plain and it's all white and cream, I really wanted to make them pop. So they are very, very glittery, blingy like, because, well, I like bling. Okay, and so on the white card base, what I'm doing, one that goes down next, I'm actually using some of the antique linen on the edges. And let me find me a piece of scrap paper so I can prime this again. Okay. And whatever side is going down, ink from that side. That way you won't slip and get ink on your paper. So I'm just inking the edges of this with the antique linen. And it just matches beautifully. It's with the cream color. Okay. And we're going to set that side and let that dry. That's going to go on here. And then we're going to glitter it up with Wicked Stella too. So there'll be plenty of shine and sparkle on here. So I'm just going to go around the edges here, because you're not going to see more than the edges anyway. I have really enjoyed working with these dies. They're so pretty, the die cuts. Now on the white, the cream color, which is going to be our top piece, I'm going to go around and do the edges with the white too, just like I did on the car base. Okay, and that's done. So now while we're waiting on those to dry, I'm going to take me a little scrap piece of paper here, and I'm going to take my snowflakes, and I'm going to use the Wicked Stella on those, just to give them a little shine. And otherwise they tend to look a little flat. And hey, you can never have too much bling, right? At least that's my motto. But we really want them to stand out, because like I said, you kind of got tone on tone. Well, this is not really a monotone, it's more like a dual tone. But you've got to make the card pop. So that's why I'm using the Wicked Stella. If you don't have Wicked Stella, you can use glue and glitter. Okay, I'm going to let those sit there. And then we're going to stamp our Merry Christmas. And that is coming, like I said, from that die set from Gareth. And I have my heat tool right here. And we're going to ink this up with, hopefully I got enough of it. Ink off. I really got to watch my stamps here. But we're going to put some of the antique linen on here. And I was a little skeptical about whether you could stamp with this, but you absolutely can. Just making sure I got everything covered. Okay, now I'm going to go in the middle of the stamp and stamp Merry Christmas. And then I'm going to take the gloss, which is beige embossing powder. Get my little, slide that off. Get my little card over here. And I'm just going to pour some embossing powder on it. And because the ink's a wetter ink, you can totally emboss with it. I was so happy that I could do that. Alright, pour this back in my bottle. And this embossing powder is Martha Stewart's that I got last year from Tuesday Morning. Can't say this year because I haven't been shopping at Tuesday Morning. Okay, so I'm just going to emboss this down, let this get warm. I'm going to hold it down because it gets quite hot. See, that's really pretty. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I hope you can. It's really pretty. Okay. So those are all the pieces. I'll wipe that down a little bit. Okay. So now, we're going to start putting this together. And make sure you have your card turned around the right way. I had to peel one of those off because I put it on wrong. A lot of us have been doing that lately. I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And glue the base down. Just going to kind of eyeball this. Just moving it around so that you can see that border on there. There we go. And then I'm going to take the base and I'm going to glue my stars on first. No, I'm not. Yeah, no. I'm doing Castella first. Sorry, guys. I'll get it together in a minute. All I'm doing is going around the edges of it, just to give it a little pop. Okay. Now I'm going to glue my stars on. And this has enough of border back here where you can, you know, get it glued down. And I'm going to go this one up here in the corner. Take the little one and glue it in the bottom. I'm just touching the leaves, the stem with them, with the glue. Put this down here in this corner. Now this is going to live right here in the middle. Just make sure that that's dry because I don't want to touch it. And I am going to glue this onto the base now, and I'll tell you why. Because it'll take so long after I do what I do next to it for it to dry. So I'm going to do it on the card base. But you don't have to. You can do this separately, and then when it gets all dry, you can put it back on. Put it on the card base. I'm just choosing to put it on the card base and do it now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is put this up on some foam. Y'all saw how quick and easy this comes together. Makes a beautiful card though. I think they're stunning. Now, I only have one shot to get this right because I don't have any more of these die cuts because they were gifted to me, like I said. Now, to make this really stand out and pop, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella pen and go around the outside edges with the Wink of Stella pen. Just give this some shine. Okay, and then I'm going to take some pearls, and where's my quick stick? Well, there it is. I'm just going to get some little pearls out. If I can. I have the worst luck with these pearls. And I'm going to stick one right there on the inside of that. And one on the other side. But before I do, I think I will do this first. Okay, the only thing I did on this one right here is that I went along the outside edge closest to the border as I could, and I just went around and followed the edge with my stickles. That's why I said I didn't want to do this, put it on before. I do this before I put it on, but because it does take quite a while to dry, and I didn't want to wait that long to do the card for you. Okay, that on the outside, and then I just put a tiny bit of glue here and a tiny bit of glue here. And just put those little tiny pearls there. Okay, and then I have the hardest time with these little pearls. And I'm just going to put one in the middle of the snowflake. It's about time to get a new quick stick too. We found one another the same size. My pearls got dumped out when the kids were doing their Mother's Day project, and they're all over the place. They used to be divided by size. Not so much anymore. Well, come on now. Okay, that's card number 1. See how quick and simple that was? And I just think that's stunning. It's simple, but it's just very elegant and pretty. So that's card number 1. Card number 2 is very similar, except we are using a white card base. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, of course. Then we're going to use a cream color mat on the first mat and a white mat on the second mat. And we're going to do the same thing to this as we did the other one. we're going to ink the edges of the card up. I'm using the antique linen on the outside edges of the card. Just sort of to pull all the colors together. On the cream colored mat, I'm going to go around the edges with the white. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's just the little details sometimes that can make a card pop. And this is very simple, but I just think they're so elegant, and I'm just in love with them. And Marcia, thank you again for these lovely die cuts. I really appreciate them. There's something that's just very elegant about white and like the cream color sometimes, without getting too, you know, gussied up, as my grandmother would say. Okay, so I'm just going to go around the edges with the Wink of Stella. I'm going to have to get me a new Wink of Stella, because I have been really using this a lot. Okay. And then I'm going to go around the edges with this one. Make sure I had it right. And this makes that little white ink just kind of pop there. Alright. And then we're going to take the white card base, and we're going to go over it with the antique linen. And again, I'm going to go over it from the back side, so that in case I slip, I'll go to the back with it and not the front. Okay. Now, this one we're doing just a little bit different. This is the card right here that I'll be recreating, except I'm going to be doing it in white as the top mat with the cream and white on top. And these are two more beautiful die cuts from Marcia. And I'm just going to put that, I kind of eyeball that in the center here. One thing, instead of using the tape runners or whatever, if you use wet glue, you have a little margin of error there that you can kind of wiggle around. And these are the two beautiful dies that I'm using on this card. They're so pretty. Okay. But before we put this on, we're going to get our little scrap paper. Where is it? And I'm going to do these one at a time. I'll emboss them all at one time, but I'm going to, excuse me, stamp them one at a time. I'm using this beautiful snowflake right here on it, if you can see that. And I'm going to be using the antique linen. I'm just going to ink that up. And I'm just going in 4 corners. Put that down. And then again using the gloss embossing powder. Okay. in this corner. So I'm going to do that for all 4 corners. Okay, I'm on my last corner here. Set that to the side so I can empty my embossing powder back in my container. Now, if you're new to embossing, do not waste your powder. You absolutely can pour it back in your container and use it again. Okay. So now I'm just going to bring in my embossing tool and use my quick stick to hold it and turn the stars into the snowflakes into pretty snowflakes. Okay, so I'm done with that. Now, one little thing about embossing, you see the snowflakes on there. I don't know if you can see them or not. I hate I have to film this at night, guys, but anyway, the thing about embossing is once the embossing powder is melted, you want to take your gun away so you don't completely melt it off your page. When I first started embossing, I did that. So, just a little tip there. Okay, so this is going to be going in the center of it. And what I'm going to do is take this, and this is going to be glued on here. So this point is going to go in between these two right here, kind of creating like a little circle there. And I'm just going to take the faintest little white dot and put it right there in the middle. You won't be able to see it once I get going here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to stamp a snowflake in the middle of this, and I want my circle to go over it. And then I'm going to use the little star that's from, the little snowflake that's from this stamp set right here. And I want to put it directly down in the middle. Matter of fact, I'm going to take that one off so I can see. I'm going to put this directly down in the middle so that dot is in the circle. So, now I could use my Stamp Perfect for this or my Misty, but I think I can do it. Oh, I need to be using my white. Oopsie. See, I messed up. So you don't have to. Okay, now we got the white. We got it going now. And this is really nice pigment ink for Tuesday morning that I got. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in a little bit, guys. So I'm trying to stay on camera, but I'm also trying to find my dot. And then I'm just going to stamp this down. And bring it up. And I realize you can't see it yet, but you will be in a minute. So now I'm going to use my bright white embossing powder. Oops. And put that on there. And I don't know if you can see that, but it shows up a little bit better there. And I'm going to dump my powder back in there before we get started. And then I'm just going to emboss this really quick. Shouldn't take but a second to do. Okay. So can you see that snowflake? That is so pretty. Alright, you can let that dry just for a second or two. And if I've done my job right, this should fit right on top of it. And it does. Okay. So now we're going to glue this onto top here. And I'm just going to just kind of hit the edges. I don't want to put too much glue on it because obviously I don't want glue squishing out everywhere. My fine tip is clogged. I have got to wash that thing out. Just going to go around the edges here with glue. Touch a little there, a little there, a little there. Just in the bigger spots where I can get glue on there. Alright. Then I'm going to line my 2 points up. There we go. And that's what we have. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Now, of course, I'm not going to let this go unsparklified. So what I'm going to do with this now is take my Wink of Stella and go around the edges just like I did on the white one. Just to make it sparkly a little bit there. This dries pretty fast, so I can do this part off the card. And then I'm going to hold this down and do the outside edges of the white part. Okay. Sorry guys, I paused the camera for a minute. I didn't realize I had didn't turn it back on. But basically all I did was lay the white mat down, and then I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to add a couple of foam strips on the back of it as well. And I'm going to pop this up. Now, I don't have a sentiment on this, and that I did that on purpose because if I want to just say warm winter wishes or Merry Christmas or whatever, I can on the inside. So I just left the sentiment off on this one. And then all I'm going to do is just